I'm Dr. Roshan Nasimuddin. I'm basically a pathologist from India.
I've been a pathologist for over 50 years now. And although I officially retired in 1996, I've kept very active with pathology still. I can tell you that I was born in New York City 87 years ago. And I've lived in New York City and surrounding areas, surrounding adjacent areas, my entire lifetime, except for 3 years when I was in military service in the United States Army. And then I was in Denver, Colorado for 1 year, and then in Germany for a couple of years. So after completing military service, I started my residency in pathology. That was in 1964.
I have worked most of my career in government medical college in Kerala.
I'm a Canadian emergency physician in British Columbia. I've been a long-term Wikipedian and within the media wiki world here for about the last 15 years.
Well, I have two major projects that are covered by the Creative Commons license. Both of them use Flickr as the platform. The first one I started about, I guess, 14 years ago, and it's an atlas of pulmonary pathology. My professional interest has been particularly in pulmonary pathology, and I have some expertise in that area. So over the years, I've been collecting and posting images related to pulmonary pathology, and I can say that arguably my Atlas of Pulmonary Pathology located on Flickr is arguably the largest collection of pulmonary pathology images that exists. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I decided to start another atlas on Flickr, which I call the Atlas of Medical Foreign Bodies. Pathologists in their daily work often come across foreign bodies of various types, originating from both outside the body and inside the body, that many times they have trouble identifying. So I decided to collect the images and make an atlas so that it would serve an educational purpose as well as helping pathologists to identify foreign bodies that they come across in their practice. So right now I have close to 400 images in there, and this is growing.
LibrePathology is a wiki-based open access pathology knowledge base without advertisements and without commercial sponsorship. It is licensed with a Creative Commons license. It was founded by Dr. Michael Bonnet, a Canadian pathologist, in 2014. It covers over 1,400 diagnoses in pathology, including rare diseases. Therefore, LibrePathology is one of the most comprehensive collections of pathology images on the internet. It is fully searchable and has community participation from pathologists around the world.
Yeah, so I've provided thousands of images over the years. Many of them related to dermatology. In that, these are people that I see within my practice. Also, I've reached out to some of my fellow healthcare providers in the institution at which I work. I've reached out to an a pathologist who recently retired, and he released a number of his both histology images plus growth pathology images to share via Wikimedia Commons and thus via Wikipedia to a wider audience. CC BY is or CC BY is the preferred license. However, many organizations have released material under a non-commercial license or a license that doesn't allow derivatives. This material can still be used by other not-for-profits, and this material is still of great use to potential leaders, and thus a group of us within Wiki Project Med, felt that we should span the tent of the Wikimedia movement. We should invite those who are releasing material under an NC or an ND license to contribute to the sum of all human knowledge. And so we started NC Commons a couple of years back, and we've been collecting NC and ND licensed medical images, specifically from folks like dermnet.nz, like Radiopedia. There's a Portuguese dermatology group that has released a great deal of images under an open license. And we're sort of collecting them on this website to allow their easy reuse by other MediaWiki installs. So, we're currently using these images on MDWiki, which is, like Wikipedia, but more geared towards a healthcare provider learner. And, we're open to have other organizations also use NC Commons within their MediaWiki installs. With respect to many areas of medicine, specifically dermatology, pathology, seeing a picture of the diagnosis is critical to learn how to make the diagnosis, how to identify people with the condition, and therefore, get people the treatment that they require. So, having easy access to images, especially various images of a specific condition, is critically important for healthcare professionals to learn, plus for people to get some idea about the conditions that they may have.
And now it is possible to widely distribute these images, share and distribute these images so that everyone benefits from it. So unfortunately, this has not happened to the extent that should be there, and with the result that you don't find many quality images. If you search the net and you look for free images, you hardly find any good quality images. And even if there are images, they are very poorly annotated. So the description, annotation, these things also have to be there. So I would say that all over the world, if about 100 pathologists really take interest in giving their material, I'm sure that wonderful world of free pathology teaching material can be built up. Not merely teaching, it's not merely teaching. Of course, at a ground level, whatever we have given is basically for undergrad level of teaching only. See, because basically many of us believe that any knowledge should be free and it should be freely available for whoever seeks it. So for medical education on the whole, I think this is very necessary because these things are not very widely available except for a price. And for many countries like India, for example, the exchange rates are so adverse to us, that you have to pay even for an article, for downloading an article, you have to pay such a huge amount when it is converted to rupees from dollars. So especially for third world countries, I think this is extremely important that we should sit together and share our resources and make it free for everyone.
I strongly believe that all scientific knowledge, including scientific images, should be shared openly and free of charge, because knowledge leads to progress. Unfortunately, at present, much scientific knowledge, especially articles in medical journals, are hidden behind paywalls, which provide a substantial barrier to getting the information that's in those articles. This has been somewhat mitigated by the advent of so-called open access publishing, where authors have to pay what I would consider a substantial fee to publish their papers. So right now, most medical journals are still not open access, but there are hybrid journals that have articles that are both open access and that have paywalls behind them. How to change that, I think, is a very difficult problem. My only thought is that maybe in the future we'll be able to find a way for governments to, pay for publishing scientific articles. But if that ever happens, I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. But I do think that open and free access to images and all sorts of scientific knowledge is extremely important.
Sharing really gives us more benefits than we think. That's what I found. Basically, I started off to make my students interested, and I was surprised because my own classmates were telling, I didn't know pathology was like this. I thought it was boring. My own classmates were telling me, messaging me, like, it was good that you're doing this. I didn't know pathology was this interesting. So actually, all that really gave me some kind of a, what do you call, a good feeling.
People have told me personally that they have used images for the lectures. So for teachers, we're preparing a lecture, this is very useful because most of the time now they use with some guilty conscience, they use images which are not really free. So they can be taken to task for. But if we can provide free images, you can do that. Everyone can do that.
Well, I actually receive frequent requests from lots of people for use of my images, and they've been used in textbooks and journal articles, in courses of various sorts, in lectures, and they're widely disseminated on the internet through so-called social media platforms such as Twitter and Facebook. So my images are actually pretty widely distributed and seen by many people, and that makes me very happy.